It felt like a kaleidoscope there. I was just kind of like looking through this kaleidoscope towards the corner of the room, and I remember seeing myself on my deathbed with no hair, saying goodbye to my family, and then zooming back out, deciding right then and there, hell no.
Welcome to the Mastry Experience. I'm your host, Francesca, and we are diving deep into mental mastery. This is where self-awareness meets peak performance. You're going to witness the truth behind personal development, emotional breakthroughs, dissolving triggers, getting into flow state, discovering purpose, and most importantly, mastering intuitive action. And we do this through a process called HypnoBreathwork. This is your community committed to breaking behavior patterns, getting into alignment, pursuing excellence, and self-mastery. Let's do the work. This is the Mastry Experience. Shout out to Huel for sponsoring and partnering with the Mastry Experience. Gracie Guardino, welcome to the Mastry Experience.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
We start every show off with a question from our Mastry card deck. And your question today is, what do you judge people for that you know you probably shouldn't? And be blunt, Gracie.
Off to the races. What's coming to mind is interesting because it's something that I know that I do myself. Mm-hmm. Speaking of archetypes and things like that, when people maybe are kind of big talkers, visionaries or something, and then it seems to kind of go nowhere. I can kind of notice that in myself. Oh. And I feel like I lack empathy when I see other people do that as well. It's okay to dream big.
Yeah. Wait, is it the dreaming big without action?
Without action.
Okay.
Yeah, without the follow through. I can be kind of triggered by that.
Okay, so this is already interesting to me because you have the awareness mm-hmm. that it triggers you in others because you can identify to some part of it?
Yeah. Yeah.
When you have a vision and you don't see yourself taking action or executing right away, what is stopping you?
A lot of self-doubt, mm-hmm. questioning my own abilities, my worthiness within the situation. Imposter syndrome becomes very alive. Mm-hmm. And it can easily become a string of excuses as to why I shouldn't do the thing. Okay,
so those are very real psychological and very common blocks mm-hmm. that people have, self-doubt, mm-hmm. imposter syndrome. But when other people have them, you feel you lack empathy towards their blocks?
I do. To be honest, I'm thinking of some specific people. And they're quite close to me. And so it's almost like this mirror.
Yeah.
To me.
It's the mirror.
Yeah.
Well, I love your awareness, and that's sort of what we're going to be diving into today. So you are a HypnoBreathwork coach. You're also an embodiment mm-hmm. coach, and you have a really powerful story, and it's one that I'm very grateful and honored to be able to share on the podcast today. And I want to start with, take me back to 2023.
2023, I had just turned 29 a few months before. I was packing for a trip to Costa Rica, planning on moving to Mexico with one of my best friends. I was one day away from taking my test out to become a certified Pilates instructor. And then I ended up in an oncologist's office. And, you know, he's showing me a CT scan of my abdomen, and he's saying all these words I didn't understand. But I could feel his energy. It was really heavy. It was really somber. And I knew something was really wrong. And so I asked him, am I going to die? And, you know, he told me what he thought it was, stage 4 adrenal cancer, adrenal cortical carcinoma. And he said, in 12 to 18 months, this will take your life. And he sunk into his chair, his eyes looked to the ground, and I basically went out of body for a minute. It felt like a kaleidoscope there. I was just kind of like looking through this kaleidoscope towards the corner of the room, and I remember seeing myself on my deathbed with no hair, saying goodbye to my family, and then zooming back out, deciding right then and there, hell no. And I asked him, okay, what do I need to do? He perked up a little bit and he's like, well, how far are you willing to go? He meant geographically, of course. And I looked at him and in my mind, I'm like, I'll go to the ends of the earth to make this happen, both internally and externally. Mm-hmm. So I looked at him and I said, I will go fucking anywhere. I can curse, right?
Yeah,
okay.
Please.
And his whole energy shifted after that. Started getting to work for me, started emailing different facilities around the country that specialize in adrenal cancer, which are few and far between. And so began my journey. Within a week, I was in Houston, Texas to see some specialists and had a port placed in my chest a few days later and was off to the races.
We just finished a level 2 training together where you shared with us more of the details of your story. And for me, it was really life-changing, honestly, to hear you speak, because I feel like we hear about people going through cancer and it's become common, and we just don't actually feel, and we don't have real understanding what that journey is like.
Yeah.
And it became really important to me for you to share more of those details so that we can understand what people are truly going through, have more empathy, and also take more action in how we can help. So once you got to that first facility, that certainly was not the last. And it's been a really, really intense journey. Can you share with us some of the treatments you've been doing?
Yes. So started off with 3 rounds of really, the amount of times I heard, this is a really aggressive treatment plan, I couldn't even tell you. It was 4 different chemotherapies total. I had to do them 4 days in a row, 3 times, for 3 months. Every few weeks I would do that. And, that's when I started to lose my hair, and I was prescribed 7 anti-nausea medications. My body's badass, though. I didn't take a single one. But it becomes this very dehumanizing experience. It's just like you show up at these times, you get sat in this chair, and you go through the process. And all of that was with the hopes of shrinking the cancer enough to make surgery more feasible. So I did that whole process and did the PET scan, was excited to go back to MD Anderson in Houston to do the surgery, get this out of me, move on with my life, act like it never happened. That was where my head was at. And I remember sitting in that doctor's office waiting for those PET scan results for a long time. No doctor came in. I was like, what's going on? I could just feel in my body, this is bad. This is really not good, to the point where I made my mom leave. She found me in the room I was in, and I still told her, I'm like, no, I need to do this by myself. You need to go. I don't know what that intuition was. Maybe some sort of protection of her. But then my oncologist finally came in and he said, it didn't work. And you can go to MD Anderson, but don't expect surgery. And the defeat was so heavy, was so immense. But I did go to Houston, and fortunately, it's a well-oiled machine there. And with the help of 4 different surgeons, they did perform the surgery. Tons of caveats were involved. I mean, I had to sign off on potentially removing my stomach, and, there were various reasons why the surgery may not have been able to happen at all. But it did. They had to remove my left adrenal gland, my left kidney, my spleen, the tail end of my pancreas, 13 lymph nodes, did a little bit on my diaphragm, and they did some ablations on my liver as well. And still the cancer wasn't gone. But it was overall considered a very successful surgery. I had to stay in Houston for several weeks just to kind of to have access to them while I recovered. It was the most excruciating pain ever. I was on pain medication stronger than morphine, and still was in just grueling or debilitating pain. but it was successful, which was great. So then after I had a few weeks to recover from that, I jumped into a trial, which was immunotherapy in tandem with an oral chemotherapy, and did that for probably 5 or 6 months, where I had to fly back and forth to Houston to do this trial in order to be able to do it for free and under the guidance of these specialists, and mixed results throughout that. But then eventually, I think it was February 2024, a new lesion showed up on my liver. And so we had to pivot, and we went to another chemotherapy regimen where it was 2 different chemos this time, and it was about a 50-50 chance of that working. They didn't know if that would work because it was normally used for, I believe, kidney cancers and things like that, so not specifically for adrenal cancer. Then I did 3 rounds of that. That didn't work either. And so we had to pivot again, did some radiation for a little bit, and then went back to immunotherapy with a different oral chemotherapy. And that's when I was like, okay, I've got to start taking matters into my own hands. This isn't enough.
I start every morning with breath work and meditation. I'm immediately in a creative flow state, and I get on my computer and I start banging out work. The next thing I know, it's already lunch and I haven't even eaten breakfast. Shout out to Huel for making sure that I'm still hitting my protein goals, because they have these delicious ready-to-drink meals packed with 35 grams of protein, 7 grams of fiber. We have 27 different vitamins and minerals. My favorite part, you guys, no artificial sweeteners, and it comes in so many delicious flavors, including this chocolate, peanut butter, and my personal favorite, the iced coffee. And if you're looking for something where you can add your own fruits and veggies to it, then check out the Huel protein. All the same nutrients, but you can make it a little bit creamier, a little bit thicker. Shout out to Huel for sponsoring the Mastry experience, and you can use our exclusive 15% off code. That's huel.com/mastery. And Huel is actually now in Targets near you. So check them out. Shout out to Huel for supporting the Mastry experience. I want to tell you guys about something that has completely shifted the way I think about optimizing my health, and that is 3x4 genetics. You know how on this show we talk about mastering your mindset, mastering your performance, mastering your emotions? Well, what if you could master your physiology on the deepest level? They will analyze your unique blueprint. I'm talking about weight balance, muscle and skeletal, hormone health, brain, heart and vascular, blood sugar regulation, sensitivities, nutrients, cellular. It's a simple cheek swab that you can do at home, and results come back on their app in 3 to 4 weeks with actionable insights across nutrition, stress management, hitting your weight goals. If you are serious about performing at your highest level, this is the kind of intel that actually changes the game. Check out 3x4 Genetics and use code MASTRY. Now let's get back to the show.
And I landed on a doctor a couple hours away from where I live, who's a naturopathic doctor who's treated cancer for over 20 years. And he does some really fascinating testing to see, based on your blood, to see what the cancer within your body does and doesn't respond to, both chemical and natural agents. And so he came up with a protocol for me based on that test. And that's when I started to implement high-dose vitamin C, artemisinin, hyperthermia, along with a few other things. Very extensive supplement list as well. I was taking like 70 supplements a day at one point.
Wow.
And that's when I started to see some positive results. Something synergistic was happening between the conventional medicine and the natural medicine. And I saw a tumor shrink by 50% in 2 months, which I'd never seen before. And that was fast. Like 2 months is pretty fast. But unfortunately, it's extremely expensive to do those natural things. I could spend easily $3,000 a week on that stuff if I had the resources to do so. So my consistency became a little bit more sporadic with that. And it's given the cancer enough space to kind of continue to progress. A new lesion did show up kind of near my right ovary. And And so it seemed like what I was doing was a failure. What I know intuitively is that it was not a failure. It just wasn't properly supported anymore. I wasn't properly supported anymore. So that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Yeah. And I think it's a really important lesson for everyone listening, that there was this point where all the doctors were telling you one thing, and you knew deeply in your body, in your intuition, that you needed to take matters into your own hands, that you needed to experiment with something else, and you actually saw real progress from it. But because of the way the system is, financially, it's become challenging for you to be able to sustain that.
Yeah.
You said something so powerful in our training, and you said, I'm not just a patient, I'm a person. Will you explain what you meant by that?
I still get chills, my own words, but
yeah, because your words are powerful, girl.
Yeah, I kind of touched this a little bit earlier. It becomes a pretty dehumanizing experience. Everything starts to just feel like a process.
Yeah.
You're some sort of cog in this machine. Very early on, I noticed within myself that I lost my autonomy. You know, a doctor said when and where to be, and I would be there. I would do it. I didn't ever tap into my body and listen to, well, wait a minute, what do I want in this situation? It felt like cancer controlled the show. So I had to look to the professionals, the people who'd studied this, the people in the white coats, to tell me what to do. What did I know? You know, I deeply fell into the identity of being a patient. I believe in Latin, the word patient comes from a Latin word that means to suffer or to endure. And that's what I did. Wow. I was at the whim of, or at the mercy of cancer, and I stopped feeling like a person. I stopped feeling like an individual. You know, I just remember being, you know, in some of my hospital stays, you're wearing, you know, your hospital gown, and we're all of us on the floor are wearing this hospital gown, and it starts to almost feel like a uniform. And my health started to feel like somebody's job and not my right as a person.
Girl, chills. Your words just give me full body chills. It's so powerful to hear you speak so eloquently about something so difficult and so hard, and I really feel like you're raising awareness for people to understand what's really going on behind the scenes. I want to understand where we came into play, like how we met when you were on this journey, and how did HypnoBreathwork sort of feel intuitive for you to move forward with?
It's so funny. I was telling this to somebody the other day. I didn't even know I was signed up for your newsletter. I had done a session through an online retreat. Susie had actually been hired on to host a HypnoBreathwork session. I loved it. And I must have signed up for your newsletter somewhere along those lines. And then kind of got disconnected from the practice, though. But then in February 2024, I got your newsletter talking about the HypnoBreathwork coaching certification. And it was just an intuitive hit. I'm like, I need to look into this. So I tried HypnoBreathwork again, and I was like, okay, yeah, this is landing. Yeah. And I actually hopped on a call with you, like a discovery call, and it was with you. And it just felt like a full body yes. It was a chance I knew I needed to take. My health felt very up in the air at that time. I was in the middle of chemotherapy, and it didn't really make logical sense to take a trip down to San Diego and do this coaching experience. But my body knew, which was kind of different at that point. I wasn't listening to my body in that same way at that point. And it changed my life, truly. I don't say that lightly. But HypnoBreathwork becoming a regular part of my life strengthened my relationship with my intuition in a way that I really, really needed. because now I can feel and hear when it is truth coming through.
Yeah.
As opposed to the external influence or urgency of others who are functioning through a different paradigm. They want to help me, but the energy becomes really intense and it can easily get tangled up in mine and I confuse it as my own.
Yeah.
And so having the breath to help me, you know, sift through all of that and determine what is mine has been essential.
Yeah, and I remember meeting you, and I remember that call with you. And in our community, we're all big fans of Louise Hay. Mm-hmm. And Louise Hay talks a lot about the emotional connection to physical disease. Mm-hmm. And we really try to use the breath to release a lot of those suppressed emotions. Mm-hmm. Have you felt that you've kind of used breathwork more functionally that way to just release things that you've been carrying?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It brings me closer to the things that are being held in my body. Mm-hmm. I can touch them, I can see them, I can feel them, and then exhale them.
Yeah. Well, you said something yesterday because you were experiencing more physical pain. Mm-hmm. And I took you guys through a pretty brutal session yesterday.
That was wild.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
Probably maybe a little too far. But you said that you realized that the pain was sort of manifesting in your body because it had nowhere to go. Can you describe that? Yeah.
That was a profound realization that came through during breath work. Yeah, as you said, I on and off since December, I've been experiencing a lot of physical pain, primarily in my abdomen and kind of my back. I've also dislocated my shoulder recently, and physical pain, fortunately, has not been a huge part of my cancer journey. I feel really lucky about that. But it's been coming up lately, and it's really thrown me. Mm-hmm. Because what do I have if not my body? Like the physical pain started to feel like this representation of some sort of decline that was happening, and that really scared me. But during the breath yesterday, I again felt and I saw that this pain, this sadness, this grief, this self-doubt, this fear that's being held in my body it translated into pain in that moment. I understood all of those things. It's just deep pain. And I understood then that this physical pain that I've been experiencing is that's it became physical because it had nowhere else to go. Yeah. And it was trying to transmute itself for me and, for itself. Yeah.
You guys all had really big releases yesterday, and it was just reminding me, because it was a few months ago or a few weeks ago that I reached out to you. It was my intuition to reach out to you, and I had just felt like you were a little bit disconnected from all of us, and I just knew that you were going through something. Like, I mean, I know what you're going through, but I knew that it was like a heavier season in your journey. Yeah. And my intuition was like, I just want her to take 2 days off. Like, I just want her to have a break. I want her to escape from it. And I wanted you to connect back to the vision of what's possible. And I think that's why we also love HypnoBreathwork, because you get these downloads and these visions of, things that can come through in the future. Share with us what some of those were yesterday, particularly when it comes to coaching a certain team. Put it out there.
Yeah, let's do it. First of all, I'll start with something that came through really in that intuitive breath that we did at the last minute. I really understood, as I was envisioning, all of these big things. It's like, oh, I've experienced the absolute depths of pain. I have been in those trenches. I've explored those trenches. I've wallowed around in them. I've gone so deep in there so that I can go really, really high up here. I can now experience joy and pleasure and fulfillment in this entirely different way, because I now have capacity for all of that. I've stretched and expanded in a way that I don't think I would have been able to hold these things that I want for myself before. So now when I see myself through breath work, you know, coaching the Oregon Duck football team and standing alongside Dan Lanning and, you know, this powerhouse, this cutting edge team in college football, like I can see myself there. Mm-hmm. I can see myself standing there because I know that I've expanded into that. I'm big enough to be able to do that. Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure I would have felt that before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really the power. It's like releasing emotion and tapping into different visions, because the journey that you're on is so hard. Mm-hmm. It's so hard to keep going, to be positive when treatments aren't working, when your body is going through just the most invasive procedures, and then to keep believing. And I think it's such a testament to your strength. It's such a testament to your bravery to sit here and talk about those hard things and educate all of us, and then just keep going, you know? And that's why I really want you to keep leaning on the power of breath to connect to those visions that give you hope and excitement. And you are just a girl. You're just a girl with big dreams.
Totally.
And I want you to keep remembering that. And we're going to bring these dreams to life. And not that you didn't have enough HypnoBreathwork over the last 2 days, but I am going to guide you right now.
I'm so excited. Let's go.
We're going to do another little custom session. Is there anything specific that you need today?
I was thinking about this. I know you get this answer a lot, but I really want to know what comes through intuitively for you.
Girl, I already have the session intuitively.
I thought you would.
Yeah. All right, let's do it. Let's breathe. Gracie, how was your HypnoBreathwork session?
It was so good. It was so good.
How are you feeling?
Expansive.
Expansive?
Yeah, I feel expanded. Yeah.
Let's break it down a little bit. So in the first song, I tried to have you just kind of feel energy moving throughout your body. And I also used the word pleasure, which was
You did. I
intuitive and
that.
interesting. Yeah.
I loved that. And it actually made me wonder, I'm like, have I used that word with you? Because that like prompted that, or if that was just intuition, because that has been kind of a word for me. I'm trying to reintegrate joy and pleasure, specifically, like reinfusing my life with that energy, because everything gets so serious when you're dealing with something like stage 4 cancer, and the energies you're around are really intense and clinical, and you start to feel almost undeserving or unworthy of all of the other things.
That is so interesting, because I very rarely use that word. And it's actually, it was uncomfortable for me to say the word in the first song, but I was like, gotta listen to the
coming through.
Yeah. Okay. In the second song, I had you tune into your heart space, but I wanted you to reprogram it to feel peace.
Yeah.
How was that?
What immediately came through was that my heart felt seen. I feel like after these last 2 days of going so deep and letting myself really acknowledge what it is that I want and what's living in my heart, it felt really seen. And I felt like peace was accessible. Which again, that feels different. Like peace is so opposite of the chaos of my life and my schedule and the appointments, and peace is like my North Star. And I felt like in that moment, access to the heart is how I access peace.
So powerful. I started to turn the page when we got into the third song, and I wanted you to tap into your power, into your confidence. How did that feel?
Oh, this was so good. The visuals were really, really strong. I kind of went back to the energy of the day that I was diagnosed. I have such a vivid memory of driving home in the car with my mom. I was in the passenger seat, and it was just silence. You know, we'd both just heard this awful news, life-changing news, And I just remember, I've been a spiritual person for a long time, but I remember saying to her, I felt like my foundations had shattered, and everything that I'd ever believed in wasn't true. And the visual around that was just like everything crumbling around me into nothing. But today what it was crumbling around me, and all that was left was a kernel. And that kernel was my strength. I needed all of this other stuff to crumble so that I could find it. I needed these layers to shed away so that I could, again, access from a really true, rooted, anchored place.
Oh my gosh, so beautiful.
Yeah.
Then I was like, we're going to go all the way with this, Katie. And I had you really tap into future visions and the dream life. What'd you see?
I saw myself, I don't ever know exactly where it is, but I always see myself in a very vibrant, sunny place. It was almost like I was in some type of like villa.
Ooh.
And very like, tall windows and, just really living in luxury.
Let's go.
I know. I'm really like, really coming to that idea that I deserve that. Like it's felt like I didn't deserve that or not even deserve, it just wasn't mine. It wasn't mine to have in this life. Just with the trajectory of how everything's gone, and I'm just starting to see more clearly, why not?
Yes. Could you feel into anything around relationship and love?
Oh, yes. That made me, I don't know if you saw, I literally smiled.
Yeah.
It's been really cool sharing all this stuff with you guys over the last few days, because I have felt, again, kind of unworthy of all of that. I shared with you my insecurities around that. Like it feels like the narrative or the conditioning that I've developed is, who would want to sign up for this? It feels like I've got an expiration date. Why would you want to commit to that when my life is so uncertain? But I do feel like I'm starting to feel the presence of somebody, like maybe kind of orbiting me or something. And just that strong container that's not afraid of what my life is, but inspired by it, and doesn't love me despite it, but because of it. And hold space for me. And again, because of what I've gone through, I know how to hold space for other people's pain and joy as well.
Oh my gosh. Well, there's nobody more deserving of that experience than you. And I think the more that you can just tap into those emotions and those visions, like that's really going to carry you through this. I'm just really in awe of you. I'm so inspired by you. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
And we were able to capture you sharing your story yesterday. And by the time this comes out, that video will be on YouTube.
Yeah, it's going to go up on YouTube.
Okay, good. So I want everyone to really watch that video and to feel you and see you and all of your eloquence and your beauty and your strength. And then I would also really like to encourage and advocate for everyone to share on your GoFundMe if it's possible and if it's feasible for them. So we're going to link all of that in the show notes. Where else can people find you?
Yeah. Right now, my focus is currently on Substack. Paid subscribers are super helpful. Everything goes towards, this lifestyle. And it's also just a place to see the behind the scenes, what's going on, the really raw, honest thoughts that I have that aren't always pretty. They're sometimes really messy, but it's how I work through things. So it's ingraceandtime.substack.com. So or Instagram at Gracie Guardino.
We'll put your Instagram, your Substack, your GoFundMe that will help you get the treatments that you've been seeing progress with. Again, I'm just so proud of you. And thank you so much for being on the Mastry Experience.
So grateful for you. Thank you for having me. This is great.
And for anybody else that wants to tap into HypnoBreathwork, I would recommend the surrender session on Mastry app for this one.
I love that one.
Thank you, Gracie.
Thank you.
Shout out to Huel for sponsoring and partnering with the Mastry experience.